Hi, everybody. It's Rinda Smith with Rinspire Life Coaching. I had a little bit of inspiration tap me on the shoulder today, so I thought that I would sit down and share with you guys what came up for me. This is about taking the focus off of the person who hurt you in your life, and taking that energy that you've spent and focusing it inward and back on yourself where it rightly belongs. The title of what I wrote today was It's Not About Them. So, when you've grown up being subjected to narcissistic abuse, you really never had the opportunity to come into your own. You spent the better part of your life in fight, flight, or freeze modes, always being attentive to the emotions of those around you in order to survive. So, as kids, we don't have the ability to say, my feelings are hurt, or we don't have the ability to say stop. We kind of are products of our environments. And this is the way that we learn to cope in other relationships. So let's fast forward. You're now in a relationship. You're in love. You think that they're the best thing ever. And you are blinded with just googly eyes and think that, this is going to be it. And, you know, but you find yourself again tiptoeing around their emotions. You're walking on eggshells. You're losing any sense of self that you had gained in recovery, um, because you really hadn't spent the time actually healing yourself. You um, you believe the narrative of I'm not enough or this is what I deserve, and that's really your shame talking. It's the untrue messages of the dysfunctional environment that you grew up in. And shame can really keep us arrested. If we continue to believe the stories that were told to us growing up as children of I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, then we're going to continue to believe that, and then we're going to continue to play that out in our relationships. So somehow you now find yourself again in this wonderful pretend relationship that you've gotten yourself into. um, you find yourself cowering in the corner and being afraid to be different. You're being told that you lack work ethics because you don't do it the same way that they would, or you shut down even further, believing what they're saying is actually true because you really have no sense of self. The environment that you grew up in seemingly now has recreated itself in what you thought was a perfect relationship. It was gonna be the end all be all because both of you could do the work and you loved each other, and then you find yourself again replaying the roles that you played and you're replaying your childhood, the trauma that you experienced in your childhood because you hadn't spent the time focusing on yourself in order enough to heal and not attract to that kind of person in your life. So, in this relationship, little did you know it happens for a reason. Once you begin to shed the dread off of your back and able to pull yourself out of the depths of your self-loathing and pity and realize that this is actually a gift and look at the opportunity that it presents. At this juncture, when you start to realize you have a choice, you can roll over, disappear further. You can disappear further into your depression. I can't talk tonight. You can cease existing. And, unfortunately, that does happen to some people. They end their lives because of narcissistic abuse. Or you can find yourself, your true, authentic self that you were meant to be. I've chosen the latter. I'm truly a representation of how not to become a product of your environment. For those of you that know my story, and if you don't, you can go to Deadly Narcissistic Mother Part 1 and you can hear my story. But for those of you that already know my story, I think that you agree that it's a wonder that I didn't turn out to be a serial killer, to be quite honest. Considering the abuse that I suffered growing up, with a narcissistic mother, but with a lot of hard work, faith in my higher power, I knew that this was not going to be my story. I have replayed this story. Um, I've replayed the trauma with my mother over and over again. Each time I've learned and found my true self just a little bit more. So you see, God gives us what we can handle, and it's through us that His work is to be done. I could have given up, but that would have been really easy. I could have given up, but I'm a fighter. And if you're listening to this right now, so are you, because you would have made it this far if you weren't a fighter. So it's not about the people that are placed in our lives. They are meant, they're just a means to an end. The goal is for you to find you. Yeah, we can sit back and we can complain about the narcissist in our lives, and what they did and what they didn't, how they didn't value us, the things that we did for them and weren't respected, um, for them not seeing who you are, but it only continues to provide them narcissistic supply. You've got to take responsibility for allowing this type of behavior to continue on, and start having some self-respect and saying, you know what, this isn't going to happen anymore. So you got to step back and you got to look at what they are missing. A genuine love that they would not be able to see, even if it hit them upside the head with a bat, because of their own brokenness. So take all that energy that you've spent trying to get them to see you and pour that energy into yourself, healing and nurturing that beautiful little kid inside of you. Give that time and focus and energy. Give it to yourself. Give that love and that passion that you frivolously wasted on someone who isn't capable of seeing your worth or value because of their own brokenness. Give that love and respect back to yourself. That's your job. It's not somebody else's job to value you. It's your job to value you. It's your job to set boundaries. It's your job to determine how you get treated in a relationship. It's your job. So how do you do this, you ask? Well, for me, it started with, writing down some positive affirmations and repeating those, sticking them to the mirror, reading them every day as I'm brushing my teeth and getting ready for work, believing in the positive affirmations, understanding that how I got here was a product of my environment as a child. Nobody did it to me. I signed up for it. It's what God needed me to do. It's what God needed to give me to heal. And if I can accept that gift, then I can get better. I can be the parent that beautiful little girl inside of me always needed. Tell yourself the things that you like about yourself. Try new things. And it's okay if they don't go well the first or second time. Take what you learned from that experience and try again. So ultimately, stop wasting your energy on others and give that energy to yourself. You deserve it. Come out of the corner. Stop cowering in the corner and start living your life and living to your true, authentic self, the one that is meant to be, not to serve others, not to, not to be arrogant, not to be, to be humble, to be kind and generous, to yourself and to others, and believing in yourself. Believe in who you are. We spend a lot of time, in our traumatic childhoods, believing the stories that we were told about ourselves, and then we just continue to repeat it. And I promise you, you're not what they told you you were. You are worthy just because you are. So those are my thoughts. If you haven't subscribed to Rinspire Life Coaching, please do. You can hit the button that's going to pop up on the screen on one side or another. And then there'll also be some videos that you can follow up with. Thank you for watching. God bless.